Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first of our CSR supporters group for 2024. This is year 3 now that we've been going, and it's courtesy of the amazing Sarah James, People and Operations Manager at Savient Limited. So it's lovely to see you, Sarah, and thank you so much for all the support that you've done for the CSR supporters group and for the forum. I know we've got some exciting plans for the year ahead, so I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to hand over to you. And yeah, we look forward to the session today. Thanks so much.
No, really, yeah, it's absolutely amazing that we're actually in year 3 for the CSR supporters group. It's great to see new faces. It's also great to see existing people that have been on kind of this journey with us. So I do have a presentation that I'm going to go through with you on the call. And we can then stop the recording at the end of the presentation and be able to kind of answer any questions, get those discussions going, and be great to kind of interact with you all. So firstly, welcome. I've just gone back loads and loads of slides.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, it was going a bit quicker.
That's all right.
So for those that I haven't met yet, I am Sarah James. I'm the People and Office Manager at Savient Limited. And scary to think that I've kind of got over 20 years worth of experience of kind of office management, that business support, PA kind of role, and very similar to kind of you, that CSR is something that I'm personally passionate about, but also that isn't necessarily part of my job role. And I think the sessions have been really useful to just try and integrate how we can consider CSR as part of our day-to-day work as well. So kind of 7 years ago, I took an officially kind of my first job as PA and office manager at Agility Group. And this provided me with an opportunity to kind of understand the role, but also I found that I needed to find a network and a support kind of community to be able to progress myself professionally, but also from a learning and development point of view. And that's when I kind of kept on seeing all these LinkedIn posts from Dan and kind of promoting the PA Forum that I decided to join the PA Forum. So that was back in 2020. And that was the year that I was a finalist for PA of the Year and CSR Champion of the Year. And we'll talk about the awards in a little bit later. And having kind of been nominated and a finalist for those categories, I got that kind of award bug and thought I want to kind of get involved with this a little bit more. And I took the plunge and self-nominated myself for 2022 for the Ambassador for Change award. And that's really where everything kind of changed for me. And I was absolutely delighted to kind of won that award. And that's when I approached Dan to kind of say, I'd really like to be able to give something back to the forum. One of those questions as part of the interview was, what would you do if you won the award? Well, as well as being as proud as punch, I also wanted to give something back to you as members and being able to kind of share that passion in CSR. So a little bit, some of the pictures on here, something that I personally, having children, am really involved in is kind of outreach events and kind of supporting the future generation. So we do a lot at Savient for outreach events, but then it's also for that kind of wider community. The picture at the bottom is actually us doing some gardening with the Girl Guides. So there was some heavy lifting and lots of clearing of shrubs and things, but it's great that we can give back to the community as well that we kind of work in. We have an annual Savient Family Day, so that's something that the extended family that are associated with Savient can come along and get involved in, and it's very much about creating that positive culture, that workplace environment for everybody. So this is kind of the journey that I was just kind of talking about, and kind of the involvement of the PA Forum. So from being nominated for an award, which is in itself it is a great achievement, and encourage you all to kind of put yourself forward and get involved in those award processes. But you build those friendships, those deep friendships with people, and I've also been able to kind of convince Savient that to be a sponsor of the awards last last year, and we're also sponsoring the awards this year, and building that partnership, because it's something that we're passionate about doing, but also from a personal and company kind of perspective. So that's our kind of little roundup from last year. So let me just check that I've got here. Yeah. So we actually kicked off last week. We had our first kind of diversity and inclusion kind of panel session. And that was really great, because it was that opportunity to see what other businesses are getting involved in, and also that it's really important to us, also from a community point of view, when the PA Forum, but also personally as well. And it's about linking into that kind of CSR strategy, as well as being able to understand what we can do as a community and a committee. So I've got some exciting news that we've actually got 2 members, PA Forum members, that are going to be joining the CSR committee. Delighted to have Bethan Hubble from Alvarez and Marcel, and Monique Williams from Jumar. Monique was also the winner of the CSR Champion of the Year award last year, and as one of the judges for the kind of CSR Champion of the Year award, that was great to be able to hear from all of the finalists, all of the people that have got nominated, and it's great that we'll be able to bring the expertise of Monique, and also from Bethan, from their completely different job roles and involvement in wellbeing, CSR, diversity and inclusion. So they're going to be joining forces. Monique is kindly going to be running a session for us in March, and then we're also going to have Bethan running a session in April for the team. We're also going to be kind of joining forces with the menopause committee. It kind of very much that kind of well-being, that promotion of just kind of care and community, and just making sure that we're supporting everybody. So I'm delighted to kind of be working with Adele and Angela and Joe as well. So watch this space. The team's growing, the community's growing, and we've got some exciting plans for 2024. So where do we kind of start with CSR? So let's start at the kind of beginning. We kind of see these words of CSR and ESG, and what is the difference in things. So CSR, that stands for community social responsibility. That is kind of the idea that business, from a business point of view, is making sure that they're having that positive impact. And it focuses on what a business can consider about their environment, their social impact, and how this kind of links to business decisions. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm hearing lots and lots of kind of from suppliers, from new business bids and wins and tender opportunities, that it's about actually what are companies and businesses doing around CSR and ESG. So you're kind of hearing the buzzwords around ESG, which is the environmental, social and governance. There is that crossover with CSR, looking at those kind of more financial implications. But for today's session, we're going to kind of focus on CSR, and then delve a little bit into diversity inclusion as well. So in recent years, we've seen that CSR is a community investment, charity days, and we're also seeing that expansion on businesses. So it'd be great to kind of, at the end of the session, to hear what those kind of buzzwords, what activities and things, and what as stakeholders involved in your businesses are looking to do as around CSR. So what does that all mean? So we kind of start at the beginning. A lot of people will kind of say, well, what do you do about charity days? Or how do we move this forward? And how do we get involved? There's probably that you've got somewhere on your handbooks or on your internet, you've got a CSR policy. If you haven't, don't worry, but we can help you to start to create that CSR policy for the businesses that you work for. So it's about how do you kind of get involved with the CSR policy, and you might have volunteering days, and I know a number of companies and people that have been on sessions before have a number of days that they can use. But it's not just about the volunteering days, it's also about how that links to the company's values, and also if there's a charity, a nominated charity of the year that you might be working towards. It could also be what you're doing from an environmental perspective, but also from that social and community aspect to involve as well as your employees, your stakeholders, and the other people that you work in as well. So what these kind of sessions are is very much about raising awareness, sharing ideas, solutions and activities, and we'll kind of look at that and the pillars of the CSR that we'll focus on. So when we kind of look at some of the businesses and different examples, we'll come back to this slide because this is like a bit of homework really, to go and see what other businesses are doing. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's not about going to see what other businesses are doing. It's about trying to align what others might be working towards to try and help you be more of a positive impact on a CSR as well as the overall commitment to your companies. You might have schemes that engage with the community. You might have bike repair days that I've seen. There might be recycling processes that are happening in your office, but actually what's happening with that recycling material that's in your office and being used. Coca-Cola, which I've put on here, their new slogan is that they want to be 100% plant-based plastic, and they're kind of working towards that as well. And then also about additional benefits that companies are looking for, and working with also their kind of diversity and inclusion involvement. So I want to kind of talk about diversity and inclusion. And I thought this was a really good kind of overview that Let's Talk Talent team kind of prepared. I'm sure you're very much the same as me when you're kind of going onto social media, and that might be LinkedIn or onto Facebook. You're seeing that there's seems to be an awareness day for everything. And while it's absolutely impossible for us to be able to cover everything as part of an awareness and celebrate all of those, it's also about getting that feedback from the team, getting that feedback from the company as to what they would like to promote and get involved. So I'm just going to share this this next slide with you, which from the Let's Talk talent team, about some of the days that they kind of focus on. And as much as we hear of kind of like International Women's Day and Movember and different things that we do as those different days, there's also ones that might be really relevant to you as a company and business. For example, if you're in the education, the National Careers Week or the apprenticeship days, they're going to be quite relevant to your business because you're trying to promote those opportunities for students. There will be, I know that dog policies and having dogs in the office, there'll be some companies that really encourage that from a well-being point of view. So kind of celebrating that International Dog Day, which is in August, that might be something that you want to promote and get involved in. Hopefully we're all going to kind of consider something around International Happiness at Work Week. We've got till September to kind of come up with a plan for that. But there's different things. So like last week in the business, I did the Blue Monday. So instead of having the Blue Monday, which is the most depressing day and Monday in January, it was about actually taking the time out with the team to just have a coffee break, just to catch up. And we didn't talk about work. We just went, right, what did you do at the weekend, or what are you looking forward to in 2024? So just, it didn't have to be a big event. It didn't have to be a big time out of people's calendars, because I appreciate that times is precious for people, but it was about having that opportunity to interact with the team. And I think there's got to be a way of being able to get that information from your colleagues that you work with, the people that are in your organizations, to be able to kind of feed back to you as to what is actually important to them and what they would like the business to do, because at the end of the day we want everyone to continue to work at the company and that staff retention, and we want to make it a great place to work. So I'm just going to this is actually a snapshot of what we have in Savient from a corporate social responsibility area. So it's about trying to find where's the best place to be able to share things with the employees. Now, we have an intranet because we've got that kind of hybrid model of people working at home or on client site or in the office. This is our kind of go-to place, that's our intranet and SharePoint. And as well as kind of sharing all the employee wellbeing programs, so your employee assistance program and those kind of the Action for Happiness calendars that I share. I've also got our kind of link to our carbon footprint report. We were finding from a business point of view that lots of business and tender opportunities wanted to know what our carbon footprint was. So I went out and gathered that information to be able to do that calculation. And that's available to everyone that kind of works at Savient to be able to have a look and see what impact they're having, but also what the business is doing about it. I also cover kind of our CSR activities. Our little Savient bug kind of appears in most places that you can see. I think he's already there in 3 little posts already. But from a company perspective, it's been able to share those CSR activities. So doing kind of online baking. We have our Keep Active Week. There's me last February on a canal walk. And we're doing that again because it's been so popular with the team that they want to be able to have those kind of wellbeing days and those keep active activities. So the outreach, as I mentioned, is something that's really important. I know that Dan kind of launched that as well at the Learning Development Conference last June. And we've got all these keen volunteers to get involved in the outreach, and we will be engaging with the local enterprise advisors and schools to be able to talk about all your fantastic roles and how you could potentially encourage some of the students to kind of follow your career path as well. From a company perspective, I kind of got the bug for the awards, as you can see, and we've got a international CSR recognition award and also an environmental Green Apple award. Because with the office move, it was those opportunities, and it's taken those opportunities to be able to implement some of the environmental considerations that we can do in the office. So you've probably heard me talk about this before, from kind of looking at the 4 pillars of CSR. And this is a great exercise, and I'd encourage all of you to kind of go away after this call to just kind of see what you have been able to achieve during 2023, that kind of recap, and hopefully you'll be able to then kind of feed that back to your team. So it's a really kind of like a small internal audit that I'd get you to kind of do. Have your 4 pillars, which is like your environmental, your workplace, community and philanthropic. And you'll find that there'll be some elements that will cross over into the different sectors. So I've just kind of put on here some of the ones that we've covered as part of the last year. And it's that environmental impact. So I'm sure as part of your benefits, and I'm sure you can go away and see what you do, that you might have kind of an electric car scheme, that you might have a cycle to work, that you're actually recycling and got recycling points in the kitchen areas, in your offices, that you're also looking at recycling IT equipment. So that's kind of considering some of the environmental aspects. In the workplace, there's lots that kind of happen, and it's kind of thinking about what some of those activities are. So if you have people that go out and talk to careers events, or go to, you've got apprenticeships, you offer work experience, T-levels, they're all things that are actually initiatives that you're offering in the workplace to be able to kind of give back to your community and that social aspect of things as well. It might be that you've got focuses on wellbeing days, and I know Monique, for example, at Jumar has the wellbeing weeks that they have and have different initiatives, and she'll talk about that during her session. But what kind of other days and focuses do you kind of look at as well? And then from a community point of view, it's that kind of who is in your ecosystem, how can you kind of connect with them and build those networking opportunities? the PA Forum is an ecosystem. We're all kind of here to have that shared knowledge and be able to support each other within the profession. As I mentioned, the kind of the CSR policies and your volunteering days, and just having a look to see if any of your suppliers, so you might actually all be doing your carbon footprint, but also about how do you offset that carbon emissions and things. So that might be that you're donating to charities, or you're planting trees, or you're very aware that the suppliers that you're linking in with are actually offsetting their carbon emissions. So have a look and ask those questions around your suppliers. From a philanthropic point of view, you've got what money are you raising? So we all like a good cake sale in the offices, always encourages a few more back to the office, but you could link that. So when we've done our kind of online baking, we'd link that back to the Macmillan coffee mornings and done the charity donations that way as well. And as well as money, it's also about time. That is a cost to a charity. So at Christmas, we helped out at Open Doors in Cheltenham, which is a shelter for the homeless. And we were able to give our time to be able to help to make a difference to those people at Christmas by sorting out the kind of all the donations and packing bags and things for them to try and help take the burden off all the volunteers that they rely on so heavily. So it doesn't always have to be that financial. Time is actually just as precious as it is as the money that people need. So here's a nice little kind of snapshot of all the kind of CSR activities. I'm quite active on kind of social media and promoting, and there might be things that I see that other organisations or some of our members that are on the call today have got involved in, so I can hopefully support them in what they're doing and be able to get involved and help others. It kind of, when you take that reflection point and as I said, kind of get involved in doing that internal audit, you'll be able to actually see what you've been able to achieve and help others. And I think you'll be quite surprised when you start to do your bit of detective work and see what you've achieved as a company. So what's kind of next? I think it's about finding an activity that you're really passionate about getting involved in, having a look to see what you might have a CSR committee, you might have wellbeing committees within your organisations. It's about doing a bit of research to find out how you kind of fit and align to some of those so you can get involved. And it's about saying, I want to be part of this, I want to be able to give back, and how can I get involved in those? They're always looking for kind of volunteers. They're always looking for that kind of role that you are as business support. They need those people to be organised, because you know how much time and effort is involved in making an event a success. So it's about being able to share those and your expertise to make it the best event as well. And it's be proud about it. If you're actually going to be kind of a CSR champion for your business, actively promote that, because you're going to get more interaction and involvement from the other members of the team.
So just, if you don't mind me, Sarah, just saying on that, for example, with PA Forum, so our menopause committee, they actually reached out to me and said, this is what we want to do. Can we do this with PA Forum members? And I was like, yeah. And the same with you, Sarah, you reached out and was like, I'm really passionate about CSR. I'd love to do something with the forum. And I think sometimes we would love more people to put themselves forward. And if they're happy to volunteer their time to give back to kind of our community, that would be great. But I think as well, it's like, I was talking the other week, so 2 years ago, I did the Strictly Christmas, and everyone at the PA Forum really got behind me when I did that dancing competition for Zoe's Place Baby Hospice. And I still have it on myself to think, right, I want to get involved in something like that again this year. What can I do? Where can I find it? What can I stick, get my teeth stuck into? And it's just to let you all know that in our membership portal, there's a forum section. So you can post about things that you're getting involved with. share knowledge about some of the things and the initiatives that you've seen, or if they're looking for volunteers, or if they're looking for people to get involved. Please come to us if you want to support our schools program, for example. So sometimes please do reach out, because if we're all kind of sometimes really busy trying to getting all the work done that we need to, sometimes we feel a bit guilty asking people for help. So we're always really welcome for anyone who wants to offer their help and support in any way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think catching up with Adele and Monique, I think all of us haven't quite got our settings right on the PA Forum portal. So you can go into your each individual profile and make sure you're getting the notifications of those forum posts. And then you'll be able to it's an email alert, so you can know that something's been posted, and then you can interact with that if it's something that's of relevant for you. So as I kind of mentioned with the CSR supporters group, is very much we're kind of working on that program activities throughout 2024. I'm really chuffed to have Monique and Bethan kind of joining the committee, and they'll be running some sessions and different groups throughout the year as well. What we're planning for our kind of next CSR supporters group is kind of some support from you. So that's happening on the 20th of February, and hopefully people have already been to kind of some of the roundtable discussions forums. So we're going to be running that session as very much small breakout areas, where the idea of that is that we can share what we've planned for 2024, focusing on CSR, but also from a diversity and inclusion, because it was really inspirational kind of having that diversity and inclusion panel discussion last week, because there's some great ideas and there's some things that people are doing outside of work that they really want to kind of encourage and get others involved in. So it's really important that we can give people the opportunity to kind of discuss those plans. It might be that you haven't even really got a plan, you're not quite sure, but want to take that inspiration from others and kind of find out what they're doing. So it'd be great to kind of welcome you to the roundtable discussion, which will be on the 20th of February. From a kind of homework point of view, just kind of maybe have the chance to kind of see what is happening or what's coming up or what you could get involved in, and be able to bring those to the discussion. And it's very much about being able to lend that knowledge and support to others, and help them and answer any questions that they might have. So we'll kind of that's the end of the presentation that I've covered today, but it would be great to kind of hear from the people that are on the call, and how potentially you'd like to see the forum kind of develop, what you're hoping to get out of it, and making sure that we're covering everything to be able to support you to have a great and successful 2024.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. We're going to stop the recording now just so we can share that with everybody, and then we can have an open discussion. But thank you so much, Sarah, for doing that. We hope to see you all at our next event in September if you're watching this back. Thank you.